service between Stratford and Tottenham Hale because of damage to the overhead wires. A lot of overground has severe delays between Wilston Junction and Clapham Junction. Also severe delays between Richmond and Stratford. This is LBC.
The long-awaited getaways and a huge summer of sport, the annual hassle of switching energy providers probably isn't top of your list. That's why Look After My Bills will auto-switch you to a great deal every year. That doesn't mean just telling you could switch. They actually, do it. Join over 500,000 people already doing away with the hassle this summer. Sign up for free in just a few minutes at lookaftermybills.com.
This is LBC.
Doesn't it feel great to have plans in your diary again? But while you're out having fun, don't forget the people who kept you going when things weren't so good. Check in on friends and family and send a beautiful bouquet with personalised message from zingflowers.com. Zingflowers.com. Amazing every time.
If you want to make the most of smart working, then here's a desk that'll work for you. My Smart Desk. It adjusts to sitting or standing positions at the touch of a button. And now includes built-in USB-C and wireless smartphone charge points. Pre-order with £100 off for just £349, including free delivery from mysmartdesk.co.uk. And make smart working work for you.
Attention cleaners. Here's something I bet you didn't know. Not all supplements are created equal. You see, in healthspan we only use vitamin D3, which absorbs into your body more effectively than vitamin D2. Our Optiflex glucosamine contains 40% more pure glucosamine than standard glucosamine sulfate. And our Opti-turmeric absorbs 7 times faster than our standard turmeric. What a hard-working bunch. Well, that is the healthspan way. We're healthspan.co.uk. Vitamins and supplements in store and direct to your door.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Green, a professor specialising in children's respiratory issues. I see firsthand how air pollution affects children's health right across London. The ultra-low emissions zone has helped clean up the air in central London. By expanding the zone to limit air well-being indoors. We can all do more. It's vital we act now. Leaving us the solution. Search TfL air quality. To america.tfl.uk/.
High Street Savings Provider of the Year in the Moneyfacts Consumer Awards 2021. But with over 3,000 colleagues and 2.6 million members across the UK, it may be a bit tricky. So instead, we'll just keep doing what we do best, putting our members first. To find out more, visit ybs.co.uk or search Yorkshire Building Society today.
I'm Dr. Helen and I'm a GP. It's great that life's getting back to normal, but COVID still hasn't gone away. And we all know that catching it can be serious. If not for you, then for someone else. So if you're feeling under the weather, or you can't taste or smell your food, or you have a cough that won't stop, please don't ignore it. Don't wait, don't guess, get a test today. Order online at nhs.uk/socially tested, or use the NHS COVID-19 app.
Time for a break on LBC.
Sage. Invoices sorted and tracked. Business bossed.
Come to a close in just a few moments. Let me bring you a piece of breaking news here on LBC. Peter Zoyser, who is 23 years old, has now been charged with the murder of the Metropolitan Police Sergeant Matt Ratner, who died after being shot at a police station in Croydon last September. Scotland Yard just breaking the last few minutes that a 23-year-old has now been charged with the murder of the Met Police Sergeant Matt Ratner, who died after being shot at a police station in South London last year. Let's come back to your calls on this issue of smacking. Nick Gibb, the Education Minister, saying that despite the science suggesting that children who are hit suffer, not just behaviourally, their behaviour gets worse, not obviously just physically, cognitively too, the outcomes are much, much worse if you hit your children. By the way, if you do hit your children now, if you would admit to that on the radio, I'd love to hear from you. We'll change your name. But why does it happen? Does it deal with the problem? Does it push the problem away sufficiently for you to think, well, that's them behaving now, so that's why I hit them. I hit them because I get an instant response. The response is they behave, and it doesn't really do them any harm. 0345 6060 973. Tim's in Manchester. Hi, Tim.
Hi, David.
I'm well, sir. Your thoughts? Yeah, good.
I would say that I would interview the child
bring this in to protect children who can't protect themselves from parents who would otherwise be smacking them around. John's a nuclear in 5 in Scotland. Hi, John.
I was lying in the grass field on no signal, no signal at all, but he's going to go what's happened in the garden first, but how we got knocked up.
John, this is, I don't know if you've heard of the phrase too much information, but John, no, please carry on in your
LBC years ago.
Let TDC restore your teeth and a smile. Book your consultation today. Visit smileinaday.co.uk.
Choice of brands, range of products, availability of stock. Getting what you need for any decorating or DIY project you've got on means having a supplier you can trust. That's why your local Leyland SDM is always well worth a look. With thousands of products for all kinds of professions and projects, plus expert advice on hand, we're open every day. To find what you need, find your local store or shop online at leylandsdm.co.uk. Leyland SDM. Tom Swarbrick on LBC.
With Sage, powering local businesses to boss it.
25 to 7 is the time. Tom Swarbrick on LBC. Keep it calm. 2-6. Keep it calm. With your COVID report, Vicky Smith.
Starting with schools, as in England they are seeing the highest rate of absences due to COVID since March. New figures show around 1 in 20 state school pupils weren't in the classroom on Thursday for coronavirus-related reasons. There are growing concerns about the rising number of children who have to quarantine because they are the contacts of confirmed cases. In some instances, whole classes being sent home due to one positive test. Chelsea is a healthcare worker and a mum of two in Colchester, and she's been speaking to LBC about the impact on her family.
There is a part of you that dreads getting the COVID letter and your children being sent home without any notice and having to leave work and then look after your children for 10 days. That's always in the back of your mind, and it does cause a little bit of anxiety.
It comes as the Department for Education has confirmed that school isolation rules in England could be brought to an end this autumn. A spokesperson said they are provisionally asking schools and colleges to prepare to offer on-site testing for the new academic year, but say that details will be provided in due course. The schools minister, Nick Gibb, says that he is looking into an alternative which could indeed come in the form of daily testing.
We are conducting trials of daily contact testing as a possible alternative to self-isolation. What matters also is that we keep the schools safe. And if you go around our schools, you will see a raft of measures to reduce the infection rates within schools. There's extra hygiene, there's staggered breaks, we keep children in bubbles, and there's extra ventilation in classrooms to minimise the risk of transmission.
The Scottish Government has announced a ban on non-essential travel from Manchester and Salford will be lifted. You'll remember that when the restriction was first announced, it was a source of controversy between First Minister Nicola Sturgeon and the Mayor of Greater Manchester. Andy Burnham called the ban disproportionate and disrespectful. Today he has said he is grateful to the First Minister for her decision. Nicola Sturgeon has confirmed most will be lifted tonight, but not all of them.
Restrictions will remain in place for now between Scotland and Blackburn, with Darwin, where case levels remain higher than in these other three areas, but we'll undertake a further review of those restrictions over the course of this week.
Over in the Republic of Ireland, the return to indoor hospitality will be delayed and it will be limited to those who have had coronavirus already or have been vaccinated. Ireland would be one of the first places in Europe to introduce such a measure. Micheál Martin confirmed the planned reopening of indoor eating and drinking due to take place next week will be postponed until a new system of vaccine certification has been implemented.
A return to other indoor activities, including hospitality, will be delayed. NEFIT's clear advice, based on the modelling it has done, is that given the increased transmissibility of the Delta variant, the safest way to now proceed with a return to indoor hospitality is to limit access to those who have been fully vaccinated or have recovered from COVID infection.
And just lastly, to update you on the latest coronavirus figures for the UK, over 20,000 new cases have been reported in the latest 24-hour period. Sadly, there have been another 23 deaths, and more than 32.5 million people are now fully vaccinated.
Vicky, thank you very much indeed. LBC's Vicky Smith reporting. Toby is in Wokingham this hour. Hi, Toby.
Hi, Tom. How you doing?
Yes, sound well, sir. Your thoughts on the slacking?
Well, I think in all these discussions that a differentiation between a smack and a beating has to be made. Personally, growing up as a child, I'm 26 now, but my parents did smack me. They never beat me, but they did smack me. There was a time when my mum always tells me that when I was sticking keys in a plug socket, the most effective way to deal with that is a smack. Children do not understand sit-down talk about the dangers of electricity. A smack stops them doing it and it removes them away from the hazard. And it certainly wasn't a regular occurrence because my parents taught me up properly to learn how to behave. But I think in all these conversations, the differentiation between a beating and a smacking gets shifted and it gets ignored. And I really don't think the state has any business putting more and more restrictions on parents in terms of how they should be disciplining their children.
A study from the US compared those who have never been spanked, hit, so with